So let's dig in on some basic things. Why are you pursuing hydrogen and not batteries? Because it seems like batteries are in every laptop, every phone, and the advances in batteries have been pretty spectacular. I own the 16th Roadster ever made. I've been a fan of Tesla since the beginning. I've owned every one of their cars. And the battery life on those has been spectacular, and the prices have gotten cheaper and cheaper. Why would you jump off the battery train and go on hydrogen? I don't understand.
Yeah, so actually what people don't know is Nikola is the only group in the world that offers both battery and hydrogen. So we do build these big semi trucks, and they're either hydrogen or battery electric, and they're two different markets. So a lot of people think that battery competes with hydrogen. It doesn't. They're completely different markets. I'll explain this. Battery works really good up to about 300 miles because you don't need as much weight on batteries to for the range. So you can get that vehicle to do what you need it to do, and it'll go up to about 300 miles. Over 300 miles, hydrogen makes much more sense because of weight. The weight is everything in trucking. So every pound of batteries you have on your vehicle, you're losing about 50 cents per load per pound. Up to. So if you have a truck that weighs 10,000 pounds more, like a battery does compared to hydrogen, then you're going to lose up to $5,000 on every load you do every day if you're at full gross weight.
Wait, why is that? I don't understand that. Is that because the weight of the batteries degrades the energy usage, or because I'm getting charged by weight, or there's a cap on how much weight a truck can have? Explain that to me. I don't understand trucking.
Exactly. So trucks have a cap on weight, 80,000 pounds. So if your truck weighs, let's say 20,000 pounds, that means you have 60,000 pounds in essentially freight you can move with the trailer, right?
Got it.
So, but if your truck weighs 30,000 pounds, then you only got, you got 50,000. So you lost 10,000 pounds of cargo you can move. Well, that 10,000 pounds of cargo a lot of times gets charged. If you're talking about like pork or whatever else, or heavier, or drinks, you can get charged 50 cents a pound. So it's a huge problem.
Because you're losing 50 cents a pound, essentially.
Yeah, you're losing money and revenue on every load. So hydrogen does not make sense in every situation. It's only a very narrow window, and that narrow window happens to be $1 trillion industry. That is weight sensitive loads, long range, what we call over the road freight. So that's moving stuff from state to state.
Weight sensitive would be the trucks are being filled to the brim, as opposed to like maybe a FedEx truck may not be filled to the brim. It's filled with whatever's got to be there tomorrow. So it might only be filled 50%. Or if you're transporting cars, maybe they only take up 50% of the volume. But something that could fill a complete volume would be beer or food or milk or something, correct?
Exactly. Or there's two things that they call in trucking: weight out and freight out.
Okay.
So freight out means you could have like toilet paper in there and you have no more room, and it doesn't matter because you're 30 pounds lighter than capacity anyways, or 30,000 pounds, and no one cares. Battery makes a lot of sense for that.
Got it.
But when you start putting heavy loads like drinks, like Anheuser-Busch, or beer, or food, or milk, or anything else, weight becomes a major problem, and that's where hydrogen makes a lot of sense. Now, here's the key to hydrogen. Hydrogen, up until like 2 years ago, until Nikola came along, until we really changed the whole thing, hydrogen would have never worked. It was too expensive. We started at $16 a kilogram, which is like 5 times more than you would with or 3 to 5 times.
How far does a kilogram drive a truck?
8 miles.
And what would that drive like a normal car? Like 5 times that or 10 times that?
No, a normal car, a kilogram will give you like 40 miles.
Got it. So a kilogram, $16, 8 miles is $2 a mile.
Yeah, crazy. You're going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So now what we did is we've been able to drive hydrogen down to under $4 a kilogram. We're about $3 a kilogram on hydrogen now. So all of a sudden those economics now make sense. You're cheaper than diesel. You're down below that 30 cent per mile mark on fuel. So now it makes total sense to drive hydrogen. And hydrogen is zero emission.
How did you do that? How did you get from 14 to 3? Is there some special sauce there?
Yeah, very simple. It's about standardization. So it's like a phone, right? When Apple makes a phone, they'll make 25 million or 100 million of the same thing.
Yeah.
So up in America right now, there's no 2 hydrogen stations that were actually developed on the same platform. They're all engineered from the ground up separately. So it's like your cost is outrageous, and but there's no standardization. So we developed the first ever standard hydrogen station that can be produced in the thousands. And that's the key, is you just drive the cost down.
So that takes, if you make 1,000 of these, instead of it costing 50 million, I heard, to make a hydrogen station. Is that about right now?
A big one, yeah. So a huge station for semi-trucks, it would be 50. Now we've got it down below 15.
So this is the equivalent in the Tesla operating system or the Tesla world of the supercharger network, correct?
Yeah, very similar to that, but we don't ever build on speculation. So Tesla goes out and puts these chargers all over the place for everybody. We don't. So Nikola, what we do is we sell the customers that go to point A to point B every single day, and they go back and forth.
Like
they
a standard
never
route. So that's what the Anheuser-Busch deal is.
Exactly. So you put a station on that one route, and you never have to worry about if there's trucks to fill there. They're going to fill 24/7 on that route every single day. And that's where all the money is.
And so that $800 million deal, how is that staged? They pay, have they paid you any of that? It's a letter of intent. I'm just curious the nature of that. And why are they, it's in contract or?
Yeah, it's in contract, but we have to, so what we have to do is they pay per mile. So we allow them to run our trucks. We cover all the hydrogen costs. We cover everything. And they pay about $1 a mile. And that's how we make our money. And so here's the way it works. When Peterbilt sells a truck, they're going to make $15,000 in profit on that truck. When Nikola sells a truck, we can make almost $250,000 of profit per truck. That means they have to sell 20 times, somewhere around there. We make 20 times more money per truck we sell than Peterbilt does, or than our competition. And that's because we own the hydrogen, we own the oil, but it's not real oil, it's zero emission fuel. And that's the key to hydrogen is you own the network.
And hydrogen, the tank's empty, and you don't have the weight. So that's the reason why you have this big advantage on the volume, the sort of max load routes. Correct?
Well, even our hydrogen, if you have 60 kilograms, that's only like 120 pounds. You know, it's like very light. It's 60 kilograms is more energy than essentially having 15,000 pounds in batteries with Tesla. So that's how, I mean, you're talking 120 pounds compared to 15,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds.